it's just a matter of staying the course to get the relief that you may be entitled to. So I'd say that. Was there anything else that I needed to cover that I did not cover, Dele, as far as this patience issue and the intimidation issue? Or anybody, if you all want to raise your hand or have any comments or something you want me to address. I know, Rick, you had something you wanted me to address earlier. I don't know if I may have taken care of it, Texas Rick. But does anybody else have anything that they wanted to add to this as I am looking at the clock to get out? This retired thing kind of feels kind of good. But just is there anything I forgot to get into? Plus, not just retired. I do have other cases. I have an appeal that's due. I have an initial brief that's due on the 28th, which I'm taking care of. I also have I'm still waiting for them to make a decision on my 11th Circuit appeal issue. I have the case that I filed against Austin Rowe in basketball, which I'm going to start talking about some of my other cases, not of course on you all's time. I think this is the people's time, but I'm going to start putting out podcasts and other videos on some of the other things that I've gone through. The attorney's pretty upset with me, but I don't give any damn about him or anything they have going on. I found out that, like I said, the judge and then were talking about me while I was sitting in the waiting room. But is there anything that anybody wants me to address that I may not have addressed yet?
Where are you with the Department of Revenue case?
I was going to talk to you about that, and I do see that Rick about he's working subrogatable rights. So make sure I bring up that daily before I get off. Oh, right. I haven't filed the Department of Revenue case. Everybody saw it. Now that we have a new head of the Health and Human Services Department and Robert Kennedy, I think I'm going to file that lawsuit. I reached out to the guy. I haven't heard anything back from him, but if you could do that, Rick, to kind of get him to kind of speak to it, I'd like to have at least review both of the lawsuits, because one includes the federal agency and then the other one doesn't. It's for state, and it includes the state actors, actually. No, just one state actor, I think. But they're drafted, and I can tweak them to make them hopefully palatable. But if he wants to take either one, they're both personal, but he could take the information, I believe, and help many people in their situations. And I don't think there's anything that we're going to be wrong about when it comes to the calculation part of
it. Right.
So, did you have an aspect of that you wanted to?
No, I'm just, very interested in that. Of course, I filed a lawsuit against the Department of Revenue, which ultimately got dismissed. But, just I want to see that case through with you.
No doubt, man. I sent it to you, correct?
Yes.
Well, if you already have it, then I think you have the finished. You have actually my finished one, I believe.
Okay.
Do you have one or you have two of them?
I have one.
Okay. I'll send you both of them. Melissa said, "What was the purpose of the lawsuit with the Department of Revenue?"
In your case, Greg, or for me?
She's asking you. She's asking you.
Yeah. So essentially, it probably would cover basically would cover pretty much everything under a class action lawsuit. But it was for me personally. The department took away my my passport. They sent various letters to my job. There was an error in the calculation for $5,000. It was a whole lot of things, and it was just ongoing issues that I had to encounter. At one point, they stopped taking money out of my paycheck. But for me, I follow up, every week or month, analyzing stuff. And if I wouldn't have caught that, I would have basically been behind and would have taken my license. So it was just a lot of things. So I had a lot of different counts in there. And essentially, it was a civil case that I filed where I was looking for, monetary damages. Ultimately, it got dismissed, but I did have my day in court to present, and this was all before I knew Greg. And I do realize there's the appellate process, which I did not go down that route because again, this was I probably met Greg maybe a year after I did that case, which I know I still might have been in the window, but I've just continued to focus on the cases that are up against me now.
And you also had a favorable outcome, even with because to say it was dismissed may be almost like a misrepresentation because you got the credit for the money that you overpaid.
Yes.
So it wasn't like there may not have been a justificable issue because you'd already received the relief that you could have sought. Because don't forget, to sue us it's difficult, excuse me, to overcome the threshold to sue the state. Uh, and for in Florida, 768.28, look and see if your state waived its sovereign immunity, but you can still get relief compensatorily by doing what we're talking about doing anyway, Rick, which is the calculations issue for each person's case. I think that's and by the way, people, if you don't get your case dismissed or thrown out, if you find in anywhere from what we're figuring, Rick, between 50 and $300 or $400 per month error, that could be substantial over the course of some number of years. Correct, Rick?
Absolutely. And for a gentleman, Greg, that sent me the information or research this information. I forget the amount, but it was I think it was close to $10,000 that he should be offered relief for. And it was just because when they took his financial numbers, they did not take into account that he had other children. So other children would technically lower your child support amount. And I went in, did a few calculations, and over the span of when that order was issued to the time the child turned 18, it was $10,000 that he would have essentially had to pay in abundance, and it's not correct, and that can be challenged at any time.
At any time, right? And so that could be relief. And when we're talking about attempting to help people, and this is for anybody out there who may hear this, whether you're on the live, which I don't even know how that even works, or if you hear it in the future, is you're talking about I don't want to sound patronizing, but it's like an easier pathway to getting relief than some of this other fantastical bullshit that people want to believe in.